Hi, I'm Solomon Peretsky, and I'd like to welcome you to a CSD Minute on rent bumps in static underwriting. This is a part of our commercial real estate training and development service to give you quick tips on underwriting. So look, I want to start out by saying if you're doing dynamic underwriting, if you're doing Argus models, then this really isn't appropriate. I'm aiming this more at the simple property where you're just kind of taking the rent roll, taking the NOI in place, and calculating a cap rate. This is a trick to help you squeeze some more out of the rent roll. And feel free to pause this video to look at the numbers because I'm going to move quickly to try to keep this close to the minute. Here's a rent roll for a retail center. This applies to an office building too. Let's assume today is June 30th of 2013. It's really pretty simple. 5 tenants, 5 rents. Monthly rent is $22,813. Multiply it by 12 to get an annual rental income of just a hair under $274,000. Right? Wrong. Today is June 30th of 2013, right? Well, I got a tenant whose rent is going to roll tomorrow. I've got another tenant who's going to roll in 2 months and a day. Bear in mind, if I'm proposing this to a client today, it's probably not going to go under contract for realistically a month or so, and there's no way that the buyer's not going to own this thing before September 1st. So why don't we underwrite these higher rents? Now when you take, this is a while till it bumps, this is a while till it bumps, but you take these 2 new rents, what we're doing here is we're adding just a little over $300 a month in income for an annual income of $277,584. Well, you're saying, so what, right? A little more than $300 a month? Well, that's $3,800 in income. At an 8 cap, that's worth almost $50,000 in value. Now, let me put that in perspective for you. If the deal ends up with a $250,000 NOI at an 8 cap, it's worth roughly 3.1 mil. Adding that value is the equivalent of 1.5%. Now, I don't know about you, but an extra 1.5%, whether I can use that for negotiating room with a buyer, or as the broker, I can use that to justify a slightly higher fee, that's real money. So, that's the tip. Custom Skills Development is a leading provider of commercial real estate training and development. Our website at customskills.com has a number of resources to help you grow your commercial real estate brokerage business and make more money with less effort. Thanks for stopping in. Bye-bye.